Hi guys, Zach here with another Command & Conquer Red Alert video. In this game I'm playing a 4v4 match on the map called Killaflow Small War. I'm starting in a right hand side position playing as the Allies. Now this is a map made by Killaflow, so it's a little bit different. It's a really small map. You can see Nose, who's just above me. So my team's on the right hand side. There's 4 of us basically in a line, and then the other 4 teams are on the other side of the map. And we'll be seeing their infantry very, very soon because it is a very small map. And what you tend to have is you tend to have a mix of gems and ore. There are particularly quite a few gems in the middle as well, but that's sort of where the fighting happens, so it's sort of like, do you dare go there with your ore trucks? But we've also got some gems at the back of the base as well, although they will run out quickly, but you want to make sure that your trucks sort of mine those gems early on, just to give us that economic advantage. And Orange is being played by as Big Muscles, and it looks like he's got a lot of infantry and they're going on the attack. And I've got a few men there and we've taken out some of those infantry, but yeah, and now he's pulling back, so I'm quite surprised actually he didn't try and push further into my base after he destroyed those initial infantry. And now he's going down, and Rambo's got quite a few infantry there as well. So now Muscles is having to pull back, and that infantry mass has been whittled down a bit. And I've just sold my barracks because I don't want to get low on power later on. So I'm just having a quick look around. I'm going for my double war factory because I'm able to mine gems at the start. So that allows me to have the funds to go for that double war factory. Now I need to move my infantry up because I can see Killaflow with his infantry at the top of Nose's base. And yeah, we've actually seen now that Nose has got that flame tower there, which is really good because it means that that top of the base is going to be protected against other infantry. Although it is going to delay Nose's second war factory. And now I'm starting to build the tanks. Now I've got 2 ore refineries out, 2 ore trucks out I should say, and now we're trying to bring these infantry. Now what I'm trying to do now is just get a bit of scouting done. If I can get these infantry into their base, it'll just give us a bit of information. And now Killaflow's actually noticed what's going on and he's trying to bring his infantry back, but I am going to get some scouting information, which is going to be good for me, so I can see what's going on in his base. So we can see where his construction yard is and where some of his main buildings are, so that's really good for us. And you can see I'm starting to build up that medium tank mass now. Killaflow with heavy tanks because he's playing as the Soviets. And we've also got Big Muscles there who's playing as the Allies in orange. And Nose is actually playing as the Soviets, so it's like sort of like a Soviet and Allies against Soviet and Allies. And the fight is going on now. I'm just trying to keep these tanks together. What you have to be careful of in these types of maps is pathfinding's quite bad on this game, so you do need to try and keep your tanks bulked together. Sometimes they can go astray. And now we can see Killaflow going into Nose's base. He's destroyed a large power plant, but we just have to keep this on with this fight. Muscles there as well. We just try to clear up those medium tanks, and a few of those tanks now are on really low health, so we can clear those up. And now we've got the tank mass advantage for the time being. Nose has still got quite a healthy number of tanks as well, and hopefully we're going to be able to take control of this middle part. And if we can keep control of this middle part, and there's a Tesla coil, but it looks like it's going to go down unfortunately. It was actually in quite a good position because it was behind the ledge, but they still managed to get to it. And now Killaflow going into Nose's base. He's got like these heavy tanks, and these heavy tanks do a lot of damage to buildings. And now we're trying to pull back, and Killaflow going for Nose's construction yard. This could be bad because if he loses his construction yard, of course he can't build any more buildings. He doesn't have a service depot, so he can't build another MCV. And that construction yard unfortunately goes down. And that another war factory is going to go down as well, and that means Nose is down to 1 war factory and he doesn't have a construction yard. But what we can see is my tank mass has managed to be built up a little bit, and Nose also has a decent tank mass. So now what we're doing is we're going for the counter, because the thing is, when you attack someone else's base, what happens is you lose a lot of tanks in the process, and the other team ends up with a stronger army. So if you do a lot of damage like Killaflow has done to Nose, okay, in the long run Nose will be at a disadvantage, but for the immediate future, we've got the slight advantage in tank numbers, and now we're starting to take out their tank mass, and we're going to probably be able to push into our enemy's base. And now we have to do some damage to Killaflow's base as much as possible, just to sort of like even up the fight. And yeah, we can see Killaflow's actually got a lot of ore refineries, selling one there, and we're just pushing further and further into his base. And it looks like we managed to take out those, well, I keep on going into his base, finding more and more ore refineries, but we're now taking out the barracks, and there's another ore refinery. I think that's his last of his front ore refineries going down, but I think he probably will have one at the back as well. And now Muscles gaining some tanks, but what we're trying to do is just trying to go for as many buildings as we can, because Killaflow's construction yard has gone down. Nose has managed to take it out. We've managed to take out all of Killaflow's power, and now we're trying to push back. We're taking out these tanks as much as possible, and we're going to go for that ore refinery. But the question is, can we get to it? And we can see Purple, that's Board 85 I think, and he's coming from the bottom of the map, giving his teammates a helping hand, which they need to at this point. The question is, can we get this ore refinery down? And it looks like it's going to survive, unfortunately, and that's pushing us in a tricky position. And now what we're going to do is we'll have a look at the other side of the map and what went on there. So this was a bit earlier. It was in 4 minutes into the game. The first part of the game was very defensive, and we can see we've got Purple and Red defending. The thing was, Red doesn't have power, so he can't use that Tesla coil, and he still doesn't have power even after one Tesla coil's been destroyed. So yeah, he basically lost 2 Tesla coils there without doing any damage at all. So that was a pretty bad play, and now he's lost. Now they've destroyed that power plant almost. That other Tesla coil doesn't have any power. But yeah, even before they attacked any of the buildings, those Tesla coils weren't powered, and he was already low on power when he started building the third one. So that was a bit of a misplay from Red, because when you're low on power, not only does it mean that the Tesla coils won't fire, it also slows your building speed, so you wouldn't have been able to build tanks as quickly, and he's only got 1 war factory. But we can see Purple in the middle of the map, and he's just defending that position. So they've managed to repel the attack from Rambo, and I think it's Michael, and now it's a bit of a stalemate. And you can see Blue trying to push in a bit, but he just doesn't have the tank numbers, and now they're commencing a little bit of a fight. There's not massive tank numbers there though, and Purple does have the upper hand here. And we can see also Red coming in now as well. And yeah, the tank numbers are just not there, and Blue's going to be cleared up there. And then it was, for the time being, it's quite stable. We can see both teams building Tesla coils and base defences. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to my side of the map and see what was going on there. So this was just after our attack, and Purple's sent some tanks up to help, and now I'm having to pull back because Purple is going into our base. And yeah, you can see he's got quite a few tanks there, and we're on the defensive now. And also Orange coming in as well. That's Big Muscles, and I think Purple is possibly going back to his base at the bottom now. But now Big Muscles is on the attack, and he's got a much bigger army. Even with me and Nose together, his tanks just outnumber ours, and that's because we spent a lot of time taking out Killaflow's base, and that means Big Muscles has had time to build up his tank numbers, and now he's going for the counter like we did before. And it's important, we're just trying to lose as few buildings as possible at this moment in time. And what we see here is we see Killaflow sending in ore trucks at the top. So because Killaflow's on very low power, it means he can only build, well, he has no power really, he can only build very, very slowly. So he has a lot more ore trucks than he needed. And what he's doing now is he's sending in the ore trucks to our bases to try and block our ore refineries at the back. And that's obviously put us in a bit of a difficult position, especially because I'm focusing on a fight at the front of my base against Big Muscles. So Killaflow's got more ore trucks than he needs, so all those excess ore trucks are now in the back of our base. But I think Nose is going to try and clear them up, so I'll have to try and take a look because it doesn't look like I'm getting much ore at the moment. And we can see why Killaflow has his ore trucks in my ore refineries, and I have to clear these right now because I need the money. I need to keep on building these tanks. Otherwise, Big Muscles is just going to overpower me. And we can see at the moment, like, Nose has been able to fight him off. So hopefully he's going to be able to keep him at bay while I destroy these few ore trucks. And once I've done that, I can get back into the fight. I just have to hope that Big Muscles doesn't break through in the meantime, because Nose is only working on one war factory. And we managed to take out those ore trucks, so now we can get back into the fight. But it still looks like Muscles does have a few tanks, but it looks like those numbers have been whittled down a little bit. And we can see Nose actually building rocket men, which is quite a good actually thing to do at this stage. But now Killaflow coming in with those heavy tanks, and there's 4 of them, and they're diving to the back of the base, and we're going to have to see what he's going to go for. It looks like he's going for the ore refinery, and this is bad, because if that ore refinery is the last for Nose, and Nose won't be able to build another one, and it does go down. So a bit of a dive from Killaflow there, taking out Nose's ore refinery, and that means that Nose is going to no longer be able to build tanks once he runs out of ore. Killaflow can still build tanks, but very slowly. So that's putting us on the giving them the upper hand. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to go for an immediate rebound attack. And again, it's going to be another counter. So, and as you can see, since they've been trying to take out our buildings, it's given us a chance to build up our tank numbers once again. And now Big Muscles, he doesn't have enough tanks to defend. We're going to have to see how much damage we can do to the other team. And I'm just building some base defences in there at the moment, just to keep my base a bit better defended. And what we'll do is we'll have a look at what was happening at the other side of the map before we go to that. And this was a bit of an attack earlier on, so we've got blue and green going for the attack now. And again, red has that Tesla coil, no power, so that Tesla coil gets taken out. That was his last Tesla coil. I think what happened is he built a radar dome and he built a service depot, and he had no power for it. So losing a lot of Tesla coils due to not having enough power, so he does really need to work on building up those power plants before he builds buildings. But now purple is in a little bit of trouble. Green has managed to break through with some tanks, and he's taken out those ore refineries at the front. We can see purple using tanks, and red has got missile launchers. Now I don't think missile launchers is the best thing, because missile launchers, although they can do a lot of damage, they take a long time to recharge, and they've got very low HP. And you can see as soon as they're produced, when you got some tanks fighting them, they just get destroyed straight away. But purple now trying to build as many tanks as possible. He's going for light tanks at the moment, which is probably a decent idea because they do a lot of damage, and the other team is going for buildings. The big weakness of the light tanks is they do fall apart quite easily, and also purple building some base defences, building some turrets in there, and have managed to hold on for the time being. So a bit of defence there, and now we're going to go back to what was happening at the top of the map. So we're pushing through now. We've got Muscle's base almost unguarded, and Yellow's base is being destroyed. I think Nose has managed to take out that ore refinery, return the favour, and now Killaflow has only got 2 war factories left, and it looks like we're going to be able to take out those 2 war factories. And he's got an ore silo as well, just below. And that's Killaflow officially out of the game. And now you can see we're just going to probably wipe it up, because we've got green up here as well now. We're just destroying Big Muscle's base, and we're just going to go to the bottom of the map. So you can see that this map, you do have non-stop action. You do have like a lot of to and fro. I mean, purple did a real good job in the middle of the game where he went up and helped the top 2 teams, because that put us on gave them the upper hand for a brief moment. And we just managed to defend that attack from Big Muscles, which was obviously just essential for us to be able to come back and win the game. So yeah, it was just back and forth really all the time. But yeah, eventually we managed to get the upper hand, and we managed to do enough damage to Killaflow's base in our first attack, and then the second attack we just managed to break through. And now we're just trying to take out purple's base, but basically it's just going to be a slaughter, because we've also got the bottom 2 teams to help us, blue and green, Rambo and Michael. And yeah, purple did play a good game in this, because he managed to just sort of like defend the bottom a lot, as well as helping the top 2 teams. So although their team lost, he did play a really good game there. And now we're just pushing down last few buildings. I mean, it is quite a fun map actually. Yeah, I mean, on the first game, because it was a Killaflow map, I thought there was going to be like something in the middle, so I didn't build any infantry initially, and then realised it was quite a bit different, but this was my third game, so I was a bit used to it at this point, and that is good game. So thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed the video.